helicopter managers, the bane of my existence, or no ma'am, MS Authenticator is free, it does not cost $40. Honestly, my title could serve as the entire post, and those familiar with the situation will shudder and cringe at that statement without any further explanation. Not too long ago, we transitioned to Microsoft Authenticator for two-factor authentication since the previous option was less secure, and we kept experiencing annoying intrusions. Annoying intrusions is what my job refers to it as. Individual has their account credentials compromised, and a third-party actor attempts to log in. They encounter two-factor authentication and decide to test their luck. The account owner thinks nothing of it and ignores the prompt or chooses no. The third-party actor tries repeatedly until the individual finally gets frustrated and selects yes to silence their phone. After years of managing these types of intrusions, we persuaded upper management to switch to Microsoft Authenticator. Actually, that is not entirely true. Microsoft Authenticator is more cost-effective, and that is how we secured their approval for the change. In any case, we made the transition last year and began encountering a problem I refer to as helicopter manager syndrome. The manager would configure two-factor authentication for their whole team without having them download the Microsoft Authenticator app from the application store. They would simply set it up for them and utilize secondary authentication methods, such as texting or calling. Fast forward to this year, and new security protocols have been implemented. Malicious third-party actors are now capable of intercepting phone calls and text messages, thereby gaining access to accounts and threatening our network. Now, it is app-only. If you forget your phone, you must drive home. If your phone is lost, stolen, or destroyed in a tragic paddleboat accident, you need to acquire a new phone. I share that story to lead into this one. Allow me to introduce you to helicopter manager syndrome Karen. Karen manages over 150 subordinates, whom she treats like her children. Her perfect little angels rely on her for everything. Since the pandemic drastically changed our lives and pushed many of us to work from home or live in underground bunkers, HMS Karen has been particularly overbearing in her management style. If one of her subordinates calls the help desk, she insists on being included in the call as a three-way connection. Does her staff need warranty service? She expects a lengthy explanation, otherwise she will not approve it. Although that was straightforward, as managers do not authorize warranty work and cannot intervene in that process. HMS Karen was the kind of manager no one desired to work for, yet she was the only option due to location. The day arrives when we send out the notification email stating that text and call methods will no longer function for logging into our systems. Then comes the second warning, followed by the third, all ignored. At last, the day of the transition arrives, and HMS Karen contacts us in a panic. By this point, she has lost over 60% of her team due to the state of the economy. HMS Karen, you have to reverse the change. We cannot use this dreadful app. Me, thank you for calling IT. This is Lightning. How may I help you? A brief silence ensues. Me, hello. HMS Karen, can you hear me? Me, yes, I can hear you now. Thank you for contacting IT. This is Lightning. How may I assist you today? HMS Karen, never mind. You must undo this awful change. We need to be able to text to log into our accounts. This app is terrible. Me, I understand it may be inconvenient to set up, but once it is configured, it works well. HMS Karen, no, it does not. It is displaying full-screen ads and preventing us from authenticating to log in. Mia, HMS Karen, and it costs $40. Do you understand how expensive it is for me to pay $40 for 47 employees? Me, well, I have some good news. It is actually free. If the app you have states that it costs $40, it is not the right app. Also, Microsoft Authenticator does not have any ads, so that is definitely not the correct app. You should not have to pay for it. HMS Karen, that is not accurate. I am looking at it right now on the application store. It is called the Authenticator app. It has a lock with a keyhole in it. Me, ma'am, Microsoft Authenticator is free. It does not cost $40. The one you are referencing is a counterfeit app created by a malicious third party attempting to steal your login credentials. A lengthy pause follows. Me, have any of your employees attempted to log into the app? HMS Karen, they tried, but it wouldn't function with the QR code prompts from the logins. Me, so you are saying that all of your employees have entered their username and password into this app. HMS Karen, they attempted to, but it does not allow them to log in. Me, but they physically entered the information. HMS Karen interrupting me, I just stated IT would not let them log in. We do not need to escalate this. While conversing with her, I am simultaneously chatting with the security team. Me, hey, I am speaking with Office 666, HMS Karen's office. Sec, please don't ruin my day. Me, you are aware of those counterfeit apps that charge $40 and steal accounts. Sec, thank you for contacting the security department. No one is available to take your call at this time. Me, come on. Sec, okay. Yes, we are aware of the app. We have been dealing with this issue all day. Me, so you know how HMS Karen is the most helicoptering manager ever. Sec, can you please speak in English? Me, I will order us some Wingstop. But yes, her entire office purchased this $40 app and entered their credentials into it. Sec, didn't I just say not to ruin my day? Me, be quiet. I'm paying for Wingstop. Sec, okay. I will contact Karen's supervisor and the chief information officer. Let them know that things are about to get complicated. Around the same time. HMS Karen, did you just disable my account? Me, speaking quickly according to security policies. I have notified the security department of the potential intrusion. Everyone in your department has had their accounts disabled for their protection. If any of your employees have used their company password for any personal accounts, they are advised to change it immediately. In my chat with security, both the chief information officer and Karen's supervisor were invited into the conversation. CIO, hey, please add me to this call. Ultra Karen, yes, me too, please. So I add security, the CIO, and Karen's supervisor to the call and accidentally disconnect myself from it. Mio, I guess I accidentally transferred instead of added. CIO, you have the call now. CIO, okay. That works for me. Mistakes happen. Not like you could have done anything more anyways. In a private message from the CIO. CIO, smooth. HMS Karen's entire office was down that day, and it took the security team 4 hours to set up their office on the correct Microsoft Authenticator app. To top it off, the CIO ended up covering the expense for the buffalo wings. Although he ordered from Buffalo Wild Wings instead of Wingstop. Not my preference, but I won't complain about a complimentary lunch. Story 2. I think my 26M girlfriend, 35F, may have lied and hidden something major from me for months. Am I onto something here? I have never posted on this platform before, but I would like some assistance and to hear your thoughts regarding this situation. It has been troubling me for far too long. I concluded a period of homelessness and a cross-country relocation to Texas at the start of 2023. I began a new job and met many new individuals with whom I grew close. I developed feelings for a particular woman who worked in the office. She was 10 years my senior. I had feelings for her for several months before one of my other coworkers, whom we will refer to as SB35M, revealed to her that I liked her while they were socializing with another coworker and her best friend, whom we will call LB29F. We went out on my birthday, without SB and LB, and immediately connected. We started dating shortly after, and our relationship progressed to a more committed stage. I was aware that she had a brief relationship with a former employee, Da27M, and her ex was also my age. She informed our coworker AW36F that if she mentioned anything about us, she would mess her up. I found that odd. Then she explained that AW had previously made comments that sabotaged relationships for her. It must pertain to that former employee. I am uncertain about what transpired, though. I know that DA and she had a fallout right before her friend's wedding in Vegas the previous year, yet he still attended uninvited. We encountered DA at a bar once, and my girlfriend confided that she felt uncomfortable about it. She emphasized that they only went on a few dates. The thing is, I have no idea how he knew to show up. It was an event for one of our friends. When another coworker discovered we were dating, he pulled me aside and inquired if SB had caused any issues since he and my girlfriend had previously been involved. I was stunned when he first mentioned it, but I remained composed. That night I asked her about it, and she quickly denied it. She did mention that the prior year in Vegas, he had confessed to LB that he was in love with my girlfriend. Oh, and by the way, SB is married, and his wife was also on that Vegas trip. This detail is significant for later in the narrative. A few weeks later, I asked her again, and she reiterated that they never had a romantic involvement. I even approached it as if I didn't care. I was simply curious. She still denied it. Several months later, I began to experience an odd gut feeling that something was off. It became a constant sensation. I grew increasingly suspicious of my girlfriend's behavior both at work and at home. She started sitting next to a new guy at work and training him, which raised several red flags. We discussed it several times, and she always reassured me that nothing was happening, and I had no evidence to suggest that the new guy was problematic. By all accounts, there was no issue, and my inquiries seemed to annoy her. Around this time, I left my job for unrelated reasons. She was actively seeking new employment and had several interviews lined up. Then she received a raise and decided to remain. That was fine. The last time I brought up the new guy was while we were lying in bed at night. She began to cry and said, "Why don't you worry about SB?" I knew immediately that it signaled the start of a problem. I inquired what she meant by that. While crying, she explained that during the Uber ride to her friend's wedding in Vegas, she was in a vehicle with SB and his wife, LB, as well as her husband and my girlfriend. My girlfriend recounted that, during the Uber ride, SB placed his hand between her legs, and when she attempted to push him away, he refused to stop. She indicated it was incredibly awkward since his wife was also in the car. Keep in mind, we had been dating for 8 months at that point, and I had been friends with this guy at work. She had never disclosed this to me before. She had been friendly with him the entire time. Not best friends as far as I knew, but there seemed to be no hostility regarding the sexual assault, at least from my perspective. I was aware that she had some negative opinions of him, but nothing serious, merely that he used inappropriate language and had cheated on his wife with another coworker. I realized that if I confronted him, he would likely deny the allegations, so I devised a plan. I texted him and asked if my girlfriend was trustworthy because I had been contemplating a serious commitment with her and wanted his perspective. He replied with a lengthy message about how she was trustworthy and a very loyal person. A couple of days later, my girlfriend texted me while at work, expressing that it was disheartening that I was asking SB about her honesty. I explained that I was trying to get him to affirm that she was honest so he couldn't claim that she was lying when I confronted him about the events in Vegas. She raised her voice at me and admonished, "Do not mention Vegas." She was very serious. I assured her that I wouldn't. Well, approximately 2 weeks later, we broke up unexpectedly. It resulted in a terrible shouting match. We have not spoken since. I asked the coworker who initially informed me about her and SB if he could provide any additional information, and he mentioned that he was told by another coworker, who attended the Vegas wedding, that she and SB had hooked up at some point. There were no further details regarding that. I confronted SB's wife and informed her about the other coworker he had been involved with in the past, not my girlfriend. His wife believed me and said she had suspected something for some time. I inquired about the Uber ride in Vegas, and she confirmed it occurred, but she provided a different account. She claimed that she looked back and saw SB with his hand between her legs, and both of them appeared surprised to see her. I have no idea why she allowed that to happen. Anyway, he returned home, and she confronted him. She informed me that after he was confronted with the information I shared, his immediate response was to tell his wife that he was going to call my girlfriend. Why? I have no idea. We had already broken up at that point. Perhaps she could have painted a very unfavorable picture of me, or maybe there was another motive. I learned that he was transferred out of state as a direct outcome of his wife's divorce filing. I am unsure if he was compelled to relocate or if he volunteered to move. To this day, I remain uncertain if something transpired behind the scenes. I have every reason to suspect so. Perhaps she wasn't unfaithful, but if she had a past hookup with him and lied to me about being assaulted, I would want to know so that I can understand her character, gain closure, and move on. Especially if she had a sexual encounter with him during that Vegas trip while his wife was present. I recognize that many will advise me to move on, and believe me, I am making an effort. I simply want to gather Reddit's perspective on this matter. Thank you all for taking the time to read this. By the way, when I mention major revelations, I refer to information that would have been a significant deal breaker for me when we first began our relationship. For context, my girlfriend, SB, and LB were close friends before I entered the scene.